Alrighty, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Season 3, Episode 41 of Hit the Books, the podcast all about sports betting, the best bets you should be taking, and everything surrounding sports. This week, the NFL and NBA playoffs have entered their final phase. The NHL finals, the NBA finals are here. Tons to unpack in these two remaining series, plus some good stuff from the NFL and MLB to get us going here this week. But let's jump in and introduce my co-hosts for this week, Huff, Ace, and Mackie. Huff, why don't we start off with you first? Mackie, let's start off with you first. What do you got for us?
Yeah, we got our two finals matchups here in the NHL and NBA. So I'm looking forward to obviously see a champion in both of those leagues. The Rangers couldn't get it done, but great hockey. Obviously, I'm not satisfied, but looking forward to next season for sure. Other than that, MLB is in full swing. Got some NFL news as well, so um, got a good amount to go over here.
Heck yeah, good stuff. Ace, let's send it over to you next. What do you got for us?
Yeah, like Mackie said, in the full swing here, got the championships in both leagues kicking off soon. MLB's rolling right now. Mackie, welcome. We've been waiting for you, and now you know that the President's Trophy curse is actually a thing because you guys had that team to do it this year, but you'll be back just like we will. But yeah, ready to get going on another week. Excited to get going, boys. Got some baseball going today. Had some day baseball, so I'm hyped up. Tough out there, Huff by Lourdes Gurriel. Hopefully these Diamondbacks will come back. But yeah, ready to go today.
Awesome, good stuff. Huff, let's finish it off with you here. What do you got for us?
Yeah, finally coming around to the NBA Finals starting tomorrow night. Stanley Cup starts Saturday. Last 2 weeks in sports till it's just baseball. Two great matchups. I think we're gonna get in the championships. One in the NBA, one in the NHL. I think the two teams that deserve to make it made it in both leagues. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch the NBA tomorrow, and obviously, like we said, game one in the Cup on Saturday.
Alrighty, boys, lots of good stuff there. Let's keep it going here with a starting segment to get us rolling into this week's episode. What's your favorite Stanley Cup and NBA final of the 2020s? Past couple years here, past four series here, I guess. Or I guess I can't do math. Three. Uh, Mackie, why don't you get us started here?
Yeah, not a lot to choose from, obviously, since we've only had 4, I think, in each of them. But NHL, there really hasn't been that many great Stanley Cup series so far. I'm gonna go with the Avalanche just because McKinnon got his first ring, and obviously taking down the two-time defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning. So that was pretty big of them. I think they only lost like 4 games that entire playoff run though. So that was definitely a pretty exhilarating run. In the NBA, I'm gonna go against your Boston Celtics series. I think I'm gonna go with the Warriors getting Steph Curry getting his 4th ring, completing that dynasty. Obviously being down 2-1, winning 3 straight against those young Bucks in Boston was huge for him, and I think that 4th ring says a lot about his legacy as well. But yeah, I'll go with those two as for my favorite championships in the 2020s.
Yeah, not a bad list. I like that take on the Steph Curry one. I mean, obviously, I thought about putting that up there, but it was against the Celtics, so I'm probably not going to do that. But that's probably the most memorable one there. But I'm going to start off with the NBA here. Mine is the bubble championship. I'm going to count the 2020 bubble championship for the Lakers. I know you think like, oh, pick the Lakers one, but I think that's pretty cool, LeBron, and that's one of the few times in our life probably that we're going to see the bubble even take place. I think the NBA did the best job of producing great content during the bubble and coronavirus. So I just thought it was fun to watch on TV. The virtual fans, the baby mamas in the crowd with the kids. I remember was it Russell Westbrook chirping at one of them or like
Chirping at, like,
celebrating?
3-year-olds.
Yeah. I just thought that was an iconic finals all around and pretty awesome for LeBron's legacy. Not a LeBron guy, but it's pretty nice to see greatness. Like to witness that. And then for the NHL, I'm gonna go with the Vegas Golden Knights there. The back to back, for the Lightning. Is that back to back to back or back to back? Think
No,
in the
Avs.
They went back to back to back,
Yeah,
but they only
They
won
lost to
two.
the
They
they
lost
lost
to
to
the
the
Avs.
Avalanche the third time.
I thought they won 3 in a row. No? They went 3 in a row. All right,
No,
yeah.
no.
Gotcha,
Yeah, they
gotcha.
went 3 in a row.
But no, I wasn't gonna pick one of those, rival in the division. Wasn't gonna go with the Avalanche one. I thought about it. That was my second choice. But I think the expansion team bringing it home, they were just on the brink of it for so long, and they were so good coming out of the gate. Fun to see that one. And plus, they took down the Florida Panthers, who took out my Bruins in the first round there. So I thought that those are going to be my two. But it's crazy to think 2020s. It's like almost half a decade now, and we mention a lot 2000s to 2010 references, and that's pretty long ago. So we got to keep up to date. That's why I went with the 2020s for this one.
Yeah, Ace, I this isn't as exciting, but I have the exact same two as you. Obviously, LeBron 2020 Finals, solidifies, he gets his third ring with his third team from, Miami, first ring for first and second, back to Cleveland, then goes over to LA, 3 teams, 3 rings, finals MVP. The line where he says, "I just want my damn respect too." I love that. It would have been so much better if that was in a sold out Staples Center, but like you said, COVID, we couldn't really deal with much. We'd take what we could get back then. But and then in the hockey, I do a Vegas just because mainly went to Vegas last year during the cup run or in the middle of that playoff run during the first round. Obviously had a rough start with a heavy bet on them with a puck line in game 1 against Winnipeg last year when they lost game 1 and then reverse swept them. That was definitely hard to swallow. But I also had them to win the West last year, so I was kind of all over that team, heavily invested in them. So definitely Vegas going and getting the job done last year. And those were 2 teams that were just like gearing up for cups. Obviously, we see it with Florida. They're back this year. Vegas got the job done last year. Obviously, it's looking like Florida's going to get their revenge and obviously get their chance to go at one against Edmonton this week.
It's funny how none of us said the bubble hockey championship.
That was so fucking stupid, dude. It was 2 Eastern teams.
Yeah, and
Canadians
It was
made
the
it.
Canadian division. They made a Canadian division. So like,
what about the host?
I
What about the 2 host rinks? Were there 2 Canadian host rinks and then 2 American host rinks? I think. I'm pretty sure because they had the remember the play-in tournament. They reseeded everybody too before the playoffs started. It was just craziness.
Here's my thing about the COVID NBA was so much cooler than the COVID hockey because one, the NBA did a better job with like putting it in like a closed gym where it didn't look that weird without the fans. Those NHL stadiums looked naked without fans in them. They looked so weird when they were playing. They were like, I mean, the fake noise and everything they were doing. That's obviously they're trying to make it as normal as they could, but the NHL stadium, especially when they had the ads just covering the seats,
banner ads,
try to make it look normal. Yeah, dude, those were brutal. But and then I also said back then that's what I was saying. Like they literally made a bracket because they want the Leafs to make it to a Cup final, and they couldn't even do it in a Canada only bracket.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Yeah, Montreal Canadiens.
Host cities. Bruins got screwed that year too, so I can't pick that. They were the 1 seed and ended up being like the 4. It's like, oh, you hate to see it.
Yeah, Lightning Canadians. I think the Lightning swept them.
Yeah, I think it was 4-1.
Well, plus the NBA bubble.
Canadians 1-1 in overtime.
The NBA bubble was much better because it was one just bubble. It wasn't just spread out and everything. The great content that came out of it.
They were seeing each other. They were like talking about how they'd see each other in between games.
Remember all the
games.
clips?
Cool.
Remember all the clips of just random players hanging out, watching games. Like
it was the game when Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray went back and forth for 50, and then Jamal Murray had a story after. He's like, "Look at this guy! Just gave us 50. Now he's just chilling on the park bench or something." It was cool how it was like a neighborhood. It was like 2K.
It was like a reality show.
Lou Will though. You remember what he did?
He left. He left and went back to Lou Willville.
Good stuff, boys. Lots of good stuff there. Picking your favorite Stanley Cup and NBA Finals. Maybe we'll do one for the whole 2000s and just keep going.
Do 2010s and then 2000s.
Yeah, true.
A lot more.
Yeah, because you want to get those Penguins in there, don't you?
I got one in each of those years.
Shit, you do.
You know who spans both those lifetimes? You get to hear a lot about if we do that. Tom Brady. So be ready for that one.
I'll be quiet during those.
Mackey's like, I just want any 7-game series I like.
We could do best Eastern Conference Finals.
Tell us you're a New York
14.
fan without telling us you're a New York fan.
Alrighty, boys. Good stuff there. Some notable dates to keep in mind here. The NBA draft coming up here at the end of the month, June 26th and 27th. So lots to look forward to as we get closer to that here in a few weeks.
I like the NBA draft.
But for this week's episode,
for how hyped up it was last year, this one's supposed to be a dud.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't heard too much. Like, I feel like the middle. It's because of Bronny James stealing the spotlight from all the good players.
No, there's just no. There's not even a first overall pick, like a
consensus.
Like they were. This is definitely the worst.
They were saying that Alex Starr guy is supposed to go 1, and now I see him getting mock draft at like 3. It's like
this is definitely
usually in the NBA. There's a solidified 1.
You know what's going to happen though. We say this right now, and I agree with you guys because I don't follow the draft or college as much as you guys do, but there's not many big names. Normally, I know them going in. Remember, even like Markelle Fultz. Like I know there's Zion.
Like Reed Shepherd going 3rd.
But like this is
Yeah,
going to
like
be the
reach-
class where
that's-
people are really good and you don't expect it, and then you're like, oh, that class was actually pretty good.
And a lot of guys,
Oh, I disagree.
a lot of guys stayed this year because of like they're
It's
starting to
also
stay more and
NIL,
more
yeah.
because of NIL. Like
Yeah.
Caleb Love returned to Arizona for a 5th year.
That
Like,
affects it.
I'm not saying he's going to be a top 2 pick, but like
He helps the class.
like Mackie said, you have Reed Shepard and Rob Dillingham going 3 and 4 overall, and the only reason they're going to the draft is because Calipari got left.
So this is Mac. You
They
think
want
this is going to be
expansion.
one of those drafts where 10 years from now we're going to be re-ranking the first 10 picks of this draft, and guys from the second round are going to be taking
You're gonna
early spot.
You're gonna get those posts that are like, "Is this the worst draft of all time?" I 100% think that this is like probably the worst draft we've seen.
I think
Watch us
I think
reverse
Dalton
jinx it
Knecht will
though.
be good if he
Watch
gets
us
goes
reverse
to a good spot.
Huff, what'd you say?
I think Connect will be good if he goes to a good spot. I saw a video on Instagram today that Ryan Hammer made, and he convinced me that if he goes to Detroit, he'll be a very good player. But I also think that Alex Sarr guy is going to be pretty good. It's hard to say about the European guys because obviously we only see the clips that ESPN shows us and that we see on social media. And they said I think there's 3 out of the top 4 picks or didn't even play in college basketball last year. So it's like they're like Euro League, one's in the G League. Like there's always that guy that comes out of the G League, like Jalen Green did a couple of years ago. I don't know. It'll be a good draft. I mean, it's always cool. Like I said, I always
It's
watch
a hype
It's
draft.
always something to
Yeah.
watch. Yeah.
Good stuff there, guys. Let's get this episode started here with the NFL. First point here, the Minnesota Vikings and star wide receiver Justin Jefferson have agreed to a 4-year, $140 million contract extension that includes $110 million guaranteed money, sources told ESPN. The deal makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. What are we thinking about this? Those Vikings and Justin Jefferson making the news again. What do we think?
What's crazy about this is like they were putting this contract into perspective with like the NBA, and like they said teams are prepared to offer OG and Anunoby 3 years, $120 million, and that's literally $40 million a year. And Jettis is getting 35 as the top
Dude,
non-quarterback. in the
Ben
NFL.
Simmons makes the same amount of money as him. The same
Isn't that
amount of money
crazy,
per
though?
year.
Like,
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, the NBA, their salary cap's the biggest. I don't know, but compared to the NFL, there's so many guys, but like compared to the NHL, everyone's like, why do basketball players
guy.
make so much
That's
money?
a good point
it's a bigger,
too, though, Huff. I never thought about
it's
that.
a bigger
roster.
salary cap and less
The
people.
roster.
It's definitely not a bigger salary cap, but it's
In the NHL, it is.
Oh yeah, definitely, but not in the NFL because the NFL has
No, there's 53 guys.
Yeah, 53-man roster. You have a 12-man roster in the NBA. I mean, there's so much money to go
15.
around.
You pay 15. They have 15 guys on the roster. 3 guys don't dress.
That's a
every
good
game.
point. I never thought about that, Huff. But the
NBA money
the
is just
roster size
stupid, dude.
affecting the contract. Because you don't see that taken into a lot of debates. And
There's less mouths to feed than an NHL team, and they have more money
that
to
makes
go around.
perfect sense. You just blew my mind with that stat.
NBA
Yeah,
money is crazy.
No, but
It's crazy.
well deserved for
OG
Jefferson, though.
Anunoby and Justin Jefferson are going to be making this. Like, that's crazy.
But how well
Yeah,
deserved for that?
We knew Jettis was getting this.
Like he's the best playmaker on offense in the NFL, but we have to see how he does coming off of injury. I think he was just taking time off because the Vikings had a light season last year. But new quarterback there, JJ to JJ, we're going to be seeing that for a while. Definitely walking highlight reel. Look at all the money he brings in for the team and the league too. I mean, Jefferson's going to make it back for him tenfold.
Mackie, did you see CeeDee Lamb sitting out of mandatory minicamp?
Yeah, but
wants
they're
the
it's not
bag.
like the same situation as it is over with like Hassan Reddick and the Jets. I think they've had communication with him. He's just doing what they all fucking do. They all end up sitting out at some point.
Yeah, they said Ayuk's doing it.
I
too.
think he's just kind of like
Ayuk could be a
I think
Steeler.
he's just kind of like giving them like a hey, like I better get paid next year type thing.
T.
But,
Higgins, Jamar Chase doing the
Not
same
really
thing.
worried about him.
Who do you think gets more
they
money?
both actually
Who
holding
gets
out?
more money? CD? Yeah, I don't think it was mandatory minicamp though. Who gets more money, CeeDee Lamb or Jamar Chase?
I think it's pretty even. I think they all get around the same. Even with like Jetta, I think it's very similar to Jetta's contract.
I think the Cowboys are going to pay CeeDee Lamb and Michael Parsons and not be able to pay Dak,
Well, they're not.
which I don't think is a bad thing at all.
They're not
No,
really going to
see
pay.
ya, Dak.
I'd rather. I think
Draft a young quarterback. Look what I'm not saying
No,
it's a
we-
winning
well, we
formula, but like
have-
look what the Vikings literally just did with Jefferson.
we
You
have
guys are
Trey
going to have to
Lance.
do that pretty
We have
similar
Trey Lance
situation.
in our back pocket. I don't like
Is
that
Alex
aspect
actually
of going
gonna-
in and trying to get a new quarterback. You know how many teams need a quarterback right now? We have a quarterback that can clearly win football games. Obviously, he hasn't proved it
Yeah,
in
but
the
he makes
playoffs yet.
$55 million.
Okay, but then you're going to go out and
Yeah, but who
risk
would
it
you
with a
rather
new
pay, CeeDee
quarterback
Lamb and Michael
probably not-
Parsons or Dak and one of them?
I don't. You can win without CeeDee Lamb. You can You can also win without Justin Jefferson. You can win
You need
without these
Parsons.
guys.
Parsons is
You
so-
need
like you have to
Parsons. He's
sign
a
him.
necessity. I don't know. I wouldn't rather. I wouldn't necessarily rather give the money to CD than Dak.
I would.
Who's younger? Dak.
CD by a lot.
No,
Oh,
CD's younger. Yeah.
CD's younger. But I
By a
mean,
lot.
I don't know. I think that
Receivers.
trying to go out and get a
Mackie, here's a
quarterback
better
in this
question.
market right
Think
now.
about Jerry
this is
Jones. Who brings in more money, 88 or 4? Probably 88.
Come on, dude. That's the receiver simply cannot compare.
No, I'm saying who
I
brings in
think
more
if
money
people-
for the franchise. I think CeeDee Lamb probably does.
Why?
Everybody has a Dak
I
jersey.
bet you Dak sells double the jersey.
Yeah, I
Because it's a
guarantee
quarterback.
Dak.
No, but CD's got to be going up.
Yeah.
Let's look at like the last 6 months though, going forward too. I mean, he's turning into meat. He's the in my opinion, he's the second or third best wide receiver in the NFL.
Who would be second if he's third? 'Cause
Jamar.
Tyreek
I
Hill.
think okay. Yeah. All right.
I don't know. Yeah,
give
I
you that.
guess. Okay, but then you're
Tyreek
gonna
Hill's
put him
good.
over Jamar just like
Yeah,
that.
Jamar's 4. Oh yeah, easy. I think so. CeeDee Lamb much more versatile receiver, and he can do it without a Joe Burrow type quarterback.
I think so too, Mackie. I think he's better than Jamar Chase.
Target hog.
I mean,
too.
Jamar Chase just didn't play. I mean, he didn't really have a quarterback last year, so it's,
Would you
a little
rather have
recency
Jamar
bias
Chase than
there.
CeeDee Lamb?
I just think it's a lot closer than you guys are making it seem. Jamar Chase is a stud.
No, yeah. I mean, all those guys.
Let's
it's
see.
like
Let's see
fucking-
what he does without.
they're
I
all-
really want to see how he would be without T Higgins, though. You know, draws coverage.
Yeah, we'll see what the hell.
But
with the
these
healthy Joe
contracts,
Bag.
these
And
wide
Tyler
receiver
Boyd, like-
contracts, crazy. Jalen Waddle got the bag. You guys saw that. That kind of makes sense considering Tyreek says he wants to retire at the end of his contract or something like that. Even though I don't believe it. And then Amon Ra got
Tyreek
the
said he
bag.
wants to be a Dolphin forever.
Yeah, but didn't he say he just wants to play out his contract? Didn't he say that when he signed
Oh,
or
I don't
something
know.
like that?
I didn't hear that.
I don't know. Some or maybe I heard someone say that, but I don't believe that. I think he's gonna keep going for a while. But he does end up pretty injured. You run that fast, that small. But yeah, I think CeeDee Lamb, top notch receiver, deservedly. I don't know about Amon-Ra St. Brown. He got the bag, and I don't think that was worth it. But the Lions had money to spend.
Listen, CD's gonna get his money somewhere. I just don't trust the quarterback market right now, especially right now, to go out and get it and risk another season on a guy that you might shit the bed. You have no idea. You
I'll
know
take
you're
him.
gonna get
I'll
10,
take
11
CeeDee
wins
Lamb
out
in
of
New
Dak.
England. I'll take CeeDee Lamb in New England over Dak Prescott.
Yeah, you can have fun with
We'll pay him whatever he
Drake
wants.
May over there.
Hey, you'll be chanting that name. He'll be in the top 5 list 3 years from now.
I think you said the same thing about Mac Jones.
He made a Pro Bowl in his first year.
Yeah.
And he has as many rings as your favorite quarterback that you're jacking up to get more money than CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, you're right. Not as much success.
just
though.
many playoff losses too, right? Dak's lost a couple more.
Yeah, probably.
Matt got swiped by that Bills team. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have to watch that one, thankfully. I was coaching a game, walked out, saw that. I was like, oh, nice. 33-3 at the half. There we go, boys.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Good stuff, boys. Let's keep it going here in the NFL with Christian McCaffrey is giving the running back market some hope as the 49ers star signed a 2-year extension. The team announced Tuesday the new deal is worth $38 million. CBS Sports lead NFL insider Jonathan Jones confirmed. What are we thinking about this one here over staying on the West Coast there?
I think it's crazy. I know that's how running backs and receivers work, but I think it's crazy. You can pay Justin Jefferson that kind of money, and then arguably the best non-quarterback in the NFL last year gets $19 million a year as a running back.
How old is he, though? Isn't he like 30? 30?
29 maybe.
Yeah.
I'll look that up.
No, but you're right, though. It's crazy. He's one of the few.
We're a longer term.
He's one of the few guys that deserves that money at that position, though. We've talked about this plenty
dude, he's
of times.
27.
Might be the only guy that deserves that money at that position.
Yeah, that money. But how
He
many
is
other
the
guys
only
are
running
you?
back that'll touch
How many?
30% more.
How many running backs in the league are you actually giving a bag to? Not many. Probably like 10 at most.
Say 5.
Yeah, I agree with you. But
Think about it. Like,
the young guys, I'd go with Bijan, Brees Hall. Maybe I'd pay them. Then you have the top-notch guys. You got Saquon
Dude,
too.
if you have a good running back, it usually means you have a good offensive line. It's such a product of a good offensive line. It's not even funny.
But McCaffrey being dual threat, I used to think Eckler was up there, but he fell off a cliff like that. We'll see how he does elsewhere. But yeah, the fact that McCaffrey can catch the ball and run the ball is just crazy. He could throw the ball too, as we saw in the playoffs last year. We threw a touchdown pass to Juwan Jennings.
Yeah. Just hopefully they don't have to use him as a quarterback on that depth chart if that ever happens again.
Oh God,
That went downhill quickly.
he deserves Does he deserve his money more than Jefferson? Yeah, you said at the start. I think so too.
Yeah, dude. Would he added to that 49ers team? That team was sniffing. I mean, I know they haven't won it, but like, would
Yeah,
he
no
add it to
rings
that team?
though.
Yeah, but like, dude, how scary that offense is with him when he's on the. What was that stretch where he scored a touchdown every game?
12 to 14 weeks. And
Dude, I think it was longer than that. I think it was like a season and a
no,
half.
I think it was. Oh yeah, you're right because it's dating back to last season. I was thinking this current
Yeah.
season. Yeah, that's a good point.
He had a touchdown with the 49ers like every game until one game this season.
Seven-
17 games,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
That's a
literally
full
a full
NFL
season.
season.
including 3 playoff
And he gets
games.
35 plus touches, 30 to 35 plus touches a game too. You know.
Yeah, and he like credit to him for the way he plays. Like I know
Takes big hits.
everyone loves to say that he gets injured all the time, but like that's the thing is he takes big hits and like he's never like I have a strain,
He
like
plays every snap.
misses a half a game. Yeah, dude, he plays. He's either truly out for the year or he's playing every week. It's crazy. You know what I mean?
He's
like
no-
either,
he's
what
no
was it?
Aaron
He tore his
Jones.
ACL.
He's no Aaron Jones.
Yeah, no, yeah. He's a workhorse. Like he's literally like that's not his running style, but like that's the best way to describe it.
He's just a freak athlete, honestly.
It's
His
the way he was
brother's in the
raised. You
league
ever
now
see
too.
those videos?
Yeah, he could.
You ever see
he, I
those
mean, he
videos
didn't have
of
a
how his dad
childhood.
raised him?
He didn't have a childhood, so
Yeah,
he might as well be the best player in the NFL.
yeah. I think he's pretty happy with that now. 2 years, $38 million. You got to think he thinks they're getting a Super Bowl in that window.
Yeah, but I mean, the team can't get much better than they were last year, right? Right. So, what are you gonna do to make them better?
Their defensive backs could be a little better.
Mm.
But then, like, you're paying them, you can't pay somebody else. It's
Didn't
just,
they get a valid?
They should have just
didn't they get a
drafted him.
valid
They should-
3? They got a valid number 3 receiver now. They have a good rookie receiver at 3.
Ricky Pearsall. But they're gonna lose Ayuk or Debo.
Yeah, but you get
I
assets or
truly think
players
they're
back.
gonna lose one of those. But this whole situation now, like Ayuk sitting out, like that doesn't help their case in trading.
I'd move Ayuk if you can get a top pick.
I think the Steelers have offered them a second and a fifth like multiple times for Ayuk, and they won't.
That's
Ayuk
like-
is supposed
that's
to go
so
in the
close
draft
to
pick.
being-
They just
that's-
didn't bite.
It's so close to being that Huff second and fifth, but like I feel like they're holding out hope that they can get a little bit more, which they should be able to.
They want like they either want a first round and that's it, or like a
A second and
and a
third or
fourth, or a
fourth.
second and a
Yeah.
third. Yeah,
Agreed.
or like a fifth and a 2 fifths. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
some,
they just
throw
they
the
want
extra
to
pick in.
win the trade.
Steelers never throw more than 2 draft picks for one person. It's just not a lot of NFL teams do that. It's not a smart move.
Only
in the long
bad
run.
teams
You
do
want
that.
those draft picks.
The LA Rams,
Yeah,
look at them.
they're still decent though.
They,
I
and
don't
they
think
got the
they're
ring.
bad.
They sold out. They got the ring.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Is it worked for them?
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff there with the new signings or some new contract extensions across the league here. But the Chicago Bears announced this week that the club has been selected to participate in Hard Knocks training camp with the Chicago Bears. NFL Films and HBO's unprecedented in-depth perspective at the Chicago Bears prepare for the 2024 season. What are you guys thinking about this? The Bears being selected for Hard Knocks.
Caleb Williams effect.
No, actually, there was like 3 teams they could pick from. So there's like Jesse, can you try to look up the guidelines of what the team is they pick for Hard Knocks? Because it's like can't be a playoff team. It can't be a team that's done it in the past however many years, and their only options were like the Giants, Saints, and Bears. And I definitely think the most exciting one out of that is the team that just got the number 1 overall pick and the 9th overall pick in Odunze. But like, I'm curious what it is because I swear those are the 3 options.
They spent in the offseason too. I mean that roster is fun to watch. I'm excited to see the wide receiver group. I know Mac, you said the Caleb Williams effect, and I agree with you. He's going to be all over the internet, getting made fun of for whatever he does on Hard Knocks. But
Did you see him swinging a baseball bat?
yeah, like come on, buddy. But he's going to be good though. He's going to be good. But the receiver trio of O'Dunn's, DJ Moore, and Keenan Allen, that's going to be great to watch. DeAndre Swift.
So the requirements here,
DeAndre Swift. I was just gonna say I like that addition.
the requirements here say if no team volunteers to have the HBO cameras follow them around for the summer, they do not have a head coach. They have not made the playoffs in the past.
New head
2
coach is the
seasons,
other thing. Can't be a new head coach.
and they haven't been on Hard Knocks in the last 10 years.
So like this year it couldn't be the Patriots because they have a new head coach.
Nobody wants to see that.
And if the Bears would have fired Eberflus last year and they have a rookie head coach this year, it wouldn't be the Bears. It would have been like the Saints.
Yeah, it said I heard the Saints, the Bears, the Giants. I think.
Yeah.
Bears is a hype one to pick. I think that team has like the highest ceiling out of a lot of teams too. Bad conference, bad division.
Hard
I don't
Knocks
know
is like
about
one of
that
those
conference.
things. I like watching Hard Knocks, but I honestly, the Steelers would never do it. But I don't know if I'd want to see my team like do that. Like I feel like you can
I
always
would
use
if
that
I was
excuse to
the
be like,
Bears right now though. They have so much like I get what you're
yeah,
saying
like
because
there's a lot.
Patriots, the Steelers, you want to be locked in football.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I mean,
I don't want them worried about the HBO camera watching them while
it's
they're giving up
Caleb
speech. You know
Williams.
what I
It's
mean?
the
Like,
hype train. You got to build it while it's hot, especially knowing the Bears could
yeah,
just fizzle like they did with Fields.
There's gonna be so many
yeah.
clips of Caleb Williams on Twitter, them just making fun of
Oh,
him.
ghetto
Oh my
Gronk
God,
Huff.
dude.
He's gonna drag Caleb Williams. Drag.
Yeah, it is gonna be good. I love Hard Knocks, but I really only ever watch like the first couple of weeks.
I'm a big
and then
highlight watcher.
Once the season like comes around, I totally drop it.
Third episode is usually the last one before it takes like a huge fall off on
Yeah, because then the season starts.
yeah, preseason that stuff starts. Alrighty. Lots of good stuff there. We have NFL positional rankings and fantasy stuff coming at the conclusion of the playoffs here. So make sure you stay tuned for that as we gear up for that. Jumping over to the NHL here, the Florida Panthers the Florida Panthers will play in the Stanley Cup for the second straight season. The Panthers entered the Stanley Cup final or Stanley Cup playoffs as the number 1 seed from the Atlantic Division, defeated the Tampa Bay Lightning in 5 games in the first round, Boston Bruins in 6 games in the second round, and defeating the New York Rangers in 6 games to advance to the Cup final. What are we thinking about that series wrapping up that Panthers and Rangers series, Mackie? What do you think?
Yeah, obviously extremely disappointing after obviously they were up 2-1, so they had the series in their hands. But honestly, at the end of the day, we were just outmatched. Their stars stepped up. Our stars obviously did not. Mika, Panarin, Kreider all had pretty bad series. I think we know Fox was playing at like 25%. You heard all the injuries. Every team goes through that, but it sucks when your best players are doing it. But hats off to the Panthers. They were clearly the better team in that series. They outshot us in almost every single game, but we had Igor to stand on his head to keep us in it. But I don't know. I think we'll be back next year. I think we'll be all right. We're not really in a bad spot. Nobody's on contract years, and the team's built for a championship. So I'm not really worried about next year just yet. It just sucks you couldn't get it done this year. Obviously, with the President's Trophy, you had all the expectations in the world, but just ran into a hotter team down the stretch. But the Panthers, definitely not a team that you want to see right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think I just think, was it Reinhardt that scored the game winner in Game 5
Mhm.
in overtime?
Yeah.
I
Of course
just
it
felt
was.
that.
Of course it was.
Yeah. Once I saw that, I immediately. That's why I kept asking you, do you think Game 5 is a must win? Because I thought as soon as they had that won that Game 5 in overtime, I thought that series was over.
I didn't think
game
the
was a
Rangers were
one-goal
losing
game.
at home in Game 5. I thought they were
Every
going to
single
win that
game
one.
was a 1-goal game except for Game 1. I mean, it was honestly a matter of like puck bounces at the end of the day. Igor obviously kept us in most of those games, but at the end of the day, it does come down to puck bounces. And they just had more. So at the end, like they have more chances to score goals. You're going to score more goals. Just big guys didn't step up, dude. It was just so tough to see Panarin with 1 goal. He scored his only goal of the playoffs with a minute and a half left, down 2-0 in Game 6. So it didn't even really matter.
What were the power play numbers for the Rangers in this series?
Terrible. I think they were like 1 for 22 or something like that. They were brutal. That's kind of what got us to where what we were too. Our special teams got us
Yeah.
where we were.
You guys, we were saying that for months. This Rangers special teams, shorthanded goals. They did it against the Capitals. They did it against the Hurricanes. They couldn't do anything against this Panthers team on the special team.
I'll tell you what though, Lafreniere, watch out for him next year. He's gonna have 75, 80 points, and that's a definite. He put up seven goals 5-on-5 in the playoffs, which is second only behind Draisaitl. And he put up 55 points in regular season, wasn't even on the power play. So he's destined to have an 80-point season. He's been an absolute stud, and what he's turned into over the last 4 years, just you can't ask for more.
Yeah, I think the Rangers all around had a successful season. Still a young team too. I think they're just hitting their stride. They'll be back in the mix. But now that we're both through it, Mackie, I'm kind of happy that we both got to go through it, so we get to experience it together. Let's throw the flowers to the Florida Panthers of what the team is that they have. And we like to talk about during the series, both of us, they don't get the calls. They get away with everything. They play the cheapest, but they don't get any calls. And the reason that is because they're just that good of a team. They're that skilled. It seems like they're a step ahead of everybody else. They're faster to every puck. They're stronger. They finish. They have talent lines 1 through 4. They have depth on the back end. They're coached very well by Paul Maurice. They play an in-your-face game. They swarm the puck. Their offensive pressure is relentless. They don't let you out of the zone. If you do, you get a counterattack, which you can score on. I think we both saw that happen. You put him on the power play, though, you're losing that game. And Bobrovsky, I don't think he's better than Swayman. He's definitely not better than Shesterkin, but he can play up to the moment, especially in the playoffs. It's just a great roster all throughout, and it's really tough to beat this team.
Yeah, I mean, you have Bobrovsky, and who's probably a top 5 goalie in the league, give or take, and you have the best team in front of you. So, I mean, he can make his mistakes, and they're still going to get away with it.
Mhm.
Whereas in our scenario, Swayman and Shesterkin make one mistake, and it's biting them. It's biting the whole team in the ass.
Yeah, it's just crazy though. You saw that offensive pressure. They're in the zone. All 5 guys are included in the attack. They're up. The defensemen are up in the blue line. They're moving around. They work that puck on the outside. It's tough to even possess the puck from them.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If McDavid can find a way to steal 4 wins from this team, then there is no more debate for
Yeah, that he's the
greatest
best
of all
player ever.
time because
But
that Panthers team is
I can't wait to
built
talk about the
different.
series. We'll talk about the West because, like I said, this Panthers team is literally built for an NHL Stanley Cup. They've shown us everything. The guys are having career years too. We talked about Sam Reinhart, but I don't know that McJesus factor. Sidney Crosby is pretty good in the Penguins. This guy's allegedly better, so if he wants to be, you got to be able to get one done yourself. I know he's got some help too, but this Panthers team, man, they're a wagon for sure. Scary to see. Literally playoff
I said it
team.
before the playoffs. I was like, the one team I don't want to run into is the Panthers, and of course, best team's going to get there at the end of the day. But they were definitely scary.
You
even
don't
going
want to
into
play
the
them
series.
too. That's the team that has real estate in the whole Eastern Conference. Maybe it's good that the Oilers don't see them too often, literally on opposite sides of the coasts. But it's crazy. This Panthers team, they strike fear in every lineup. In your face game, they're skilled guys, put pucks away, and then they punch you in the mouth and they do it again. So not surprised to see them back there. I wonder if Paul Maurice can finally win one though.
Lots of good stuff moving over to the West here. The Edmonton Oilers will play in the Stanley Cup for the first time since 2006. The Oilers entered the preseason as the number 2 seed from the Pacific Division, defeated the Los Angeles Kings in 5 games in the first round, Vancouver Canucks in 7 games in the second round before defeating the Dallas Stars in 6 games to advance to the Cup final. Edmonton has won the Stanley Cup 5 times, most recently in 1990, the last of 5 titles in a 7-year span. What are we thinking here? Oilers and Stars for that Western Conference final. What did you guys think of that series?
I was the only one that stuck with these Oilers. I said that you guys questioned that I thought that they were going to win 3 straight and win this series in 6 in Edmonton. That's exactly what happened. They won a huge game 5 in Dallas. They went up 3-0. Dallas scored that late goal. Edmonton handled business on their home ice. I did take them on the puck line in game 6. Thought they'd handle business, get that empty net and cover for me. We're up 2-0. Only won the game 2-1. Lost my bet, but they did get out of that series in 6 games.
Yeah, Huff, hats off to you for that one. But I will say they weren't the better team. There's no way that they were the better
No,
team.
they just
And
squeaked it by.
what's crazy about it is that Stuart Skinner's nowhere near the goalie Ottinger is, and he outplayed him in those final 3 games when it was a 2-2 series, I think it was. Or even when it was a 2-1 series, he outplayed Ottinger the entire way. And that was the difference at the end of the day. They got outshot 35-10 in a series clinching game. Had 10 shots on goal, and they won the game 2-1. That's just it's something you can't really make up. Stuart Skinner, all the shit he's heard the entire series, the entire playoffs, and he's able to turn around and have a game like that in a series clinching scenario. It's just awesome for him. So if he can step up and play really well against these Panthers, he's going to have to, obviously. Panthers are obviously a better team than the Stars, but I mean, you have the star power. You have McDavid, you have Draisaitl. They're going to get their points every single game. If not every game, maybe one game off, but they will get their points. They will make their presence known for sure. So I'm not going to count this Oilers team out. I counted them out in the Western Conference Finals, and it obviously backfired. But they're definitely going to be there. They're going to be there in the Stanley Cup Final, and you're gonna have to see a lot of McDavid and Draisaitl for sure. And if Stuart Skinner can play that any way like he did in the Western Conference Finals, it's not going to be a rollover for those Panthers.
Yeah, I mean the Stars. We'll give them a little talk here. Great run by them, but they always end up falling up short. It's crazy to see their roster was loaded top to bottom. Had the better goaltender, lost all these good goalies. Mackey getting knocked out. We've been saying it the last few years now. Miro Heiskanen, that just top to bottom. We know they'll be back. Losing Pavelski, we're gonna get to that in a bit. That one kind of stings. A big fan of him, but a lot of young guys built around that core. So they're one of the best teams in my opinion. at rebuilding while staying great. They have those veterans, but look at all the young pieces they have: Wyatt Johnston, Jason Robertson, Miro Heiskanen, Rupe Hintz, the list Fox. The list goes on and on. So I think they'll be back in the mix. I mean, they always fall in the conference finals or earlier, so they're a Western team at best. But the Oilers really just getting their thing done. That McDavid highlight goal, that's going to be something that's going to be seen for years to come. That's going to be all over his resume, all over his highlight reels. They've got the rest of the cast with them. I think Nurse might have a better Stanley Cup final than he did in the Western Conference. He was getting trolled throughout those rounds. But it's going to be interesting to see. Stuart Skinner can play solid at times. He's not total pushover. So there's a chance that he plays like that in the Cup. But kudos to these Oilers getting over the hump. Huff, I wish I stuck with you. I took it in the bracket in both of them. I had the Oilers to the Cup. Oilers the Cup. Oilers the Cup. Then I saw the light, read into Mackey's goaltending woe talk a little bit too much, I guess, because it's true, though. I mean, these last few years, you would think the better goaltender would win, but the last few years, you don't need them to do it, especially in the West. Eden Hill, now Stuart Skinner going to the Cup. So eager to see, though. I can't wait to see more. You can never give me enough McDavid Draisaitl highlights. So seeing him in the Stanley Cup is going to be great to watch.
I think this is a way more exciting final than if we would have got Dallas, Florida.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody wants to see McDavid in the finals. And you know what's nice, Mackie, the only good thing about us not making the Cup this year and the Panthers doing it is we get to enjoy Connor McDavid's first ever Stanley Cup with a blank slate.
I was saying, like, if we won that series, I would rather see the Oilers, but then again, you don't really want to see McDavid in the.
No, he's going to take over.
That's trying to get his first
Let's
one.
get into this series because it's pretty crazy what can happen in this one.
Yeah, the stage is set. The Stanley Cup final will feature the Florida Panthers of the Eastern Conference and Edmonton Oilers of the Western Conference in a best-of-7 series. This series starts Saturday, June 8th at Amerit Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida. What are your guys' thoughts on this year's Stanley Cup starting in Florida? Can McDavid make a statement here?
I'm going to say
yes.
You're the one on the Oilers.
I know, and it's crazy to think because I just talked about how great these Florida Panthers are. I hate that team, and I just gassed them up after we talked about how they went through my Bruins and Mackey's Rangers and whoever they beat in the first round, some cakewalk team. Oh, it was the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're pretty good too. So that's a good run they went on there. The Oilers, bad goaltender, weak defenseman, no depth, but they have that guy number 97, Connor McDavid, leading the team. They have Leon Draisaitl. Yeah, you're talking about a lot of playoff goals with Lafreniere. He's got a lot too, probably more. I think he does.
5 on 5.
Yeah, and there's a few other good players on this team that can make an impact. They went out and got guys like Adam Henrique for their depth. They have Nugent Hopkins and Zach Hyman in the backboard. We like to troll him a lot, but he's going to score goals in this final. Huff, is it a bad bet to take him to score the first goal of Game 1? Probably not. I know you've hit Zach Hyman. You've hit on him.
No,
before.
yeah,
he's going to be all over it. You know he's going to get his this series, and I think McDavid is going to have a takeover series. You're going to see multi-point nights every game. Do they win this easily? Not at all. There might be some tight games where he gets stymied, especially against the hard-hitting physicality you see from the Panthers. But I think if anybody can take advantage of Sergei Bobrovsky, it will be McDavid. This power play, Draisaitl. Oh, and did I say Connor McDavid? So I'm on the Oilers here. I think they're able to get it done. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be pretty because 97's doing it.
I also, Ace, back to what you said about Hyman scoring first. When I did card it in Game 6, did you see the move that everyone was freaking out that McDavid did? Hyman is literally standing in the fucking crease. I thought it was going to hit off his hip or some bullshit like it did Game 3. Do you remember that one? Whenever McDavid shot it,
hit him in the shoulder.
It hit Hyman's like shoulder and just dropped in the net. I was like, why couldn't that happen again? Literally, why couldn't that same thing happen again? The one time McDavid shoots it and he's actually trying to score. Of course he's going to fucking bury. That was a gross move, but I was praying that hit Hyman. But yeah, to this series, I think Florida will handle business. I think they're going to get their revenge from last year. They got that taste of the Stanley Cup final. Just to kind of allude things over to the NBA. Everyone's saying the Celtics have all this experience. They've been to the finals before. That's why a lot of people are picking them to get it done. That's exactly why I like Florida here. They have the experience. They've been there, obviously, as soon as last season. Second cup run in as many years. I think it's been a great year for Edmonton. Not saying they're not going to get theirs in this game. I do have Florida winning the series in 6. I think it could go 7. I originally said Panthers in 5. Starting to talk myself into more a longer series. I think it'll go 6 games. I like the Panthers to close things out on that far road trip up there in Edmonton. I think they'll handle business. I like Florida to win games 1, possibly games 2. I wouldn't be surprised if they go up 2-0. I always say a series doesn't start till a home team loses. And I think we're in for a really good series. I just think the Panthers are going to be too much for the Oilers to handle.
Mackie, did you guys, before you give your take, did you guys beat the Panthers game 1 of your series?
No, we lost.
No,
3-0.
they came in MSG and won 3-0.
All right. I was going to say, because we took them in game 1, and you took game 2, though, right? Like, you even the series? Yeah, I think it's been 1-1 in their last 2, not against the Lightning. I know they went up like 3-0 or something like that. But I don't know.
They were only home against you guys in the Lightning. They're 3-1 in games 1 and 2 of the first 2 series that they were on home ice for.
Okay, that's a good stat. But the
If that
last
stat makes
last
sense.
2 games, yeah, I get what you're saying. But the last 2 series, they did go 1-1 in the first 2 games. I wouldn't be surprised to see the same thing and see the Oilers flip home ice.
I don't think there's enough to look at there to make a trend
case off of it.
if they're gonna,
Yeah. I was trying to see if there was one.
I'm gonna go Florida in 5. Honestly, I think that what Florida does best is they go at the opposing team's best players, and they really make them know that they're there. And I think McDavid's gonna get slashed, hooked, hit outside of the play whenever they can. They're gonna make his life hell for
I don't
sure.
want to put them on the power play though.
Listen, they'll take.
Have you guys heard?
If anybody
Both
gets the
these
calls,
power
it's
plays are so
97 and 29. They'll get some looks.
Yeah, but which power play do you think is scarier at the end of the day?
The one with McDavid and
tough.
Draisaitl.
That's arguable.
The one with McDavid and
That's
Draisaitl.
arguable. I was gonna say.
I think these are 2 incredible special teams.
When you
both-
have an extra guy on the ice and one of them is the best player, if not the best player in the world, I'd probably say
Yeah, you give the edge to the Oilers. You give the edge to the Oilers.
Yeah,
Draisaitl's
but I mean,
pretty
the
good too.
penalty killing on the other side is pretty. I mean, yeah, but I feel like Draisaitl.
Who are the best
Just kinda
players in
sits
this
on that-
series? McDavid and Draisaitl.
dude, I don't know. Barkov's so good. He's so
Yeah, I
underrated.
agree.
Dude, there's so many guys. Okay, you could say they have the Oilers have the 1 and 2, but you can say the Panthers have 3 through 10.
Yeah.
Easily, because you have those guys. You can name off 7 guys.
And
right now.
including their goalie in the top 5
Nah, I don't know about Bob being a top 5. I mean, when you have
in this series.
you have
Evan
Verhaeghe,
Bouchard- Evan
Barkov,
Bouchard's
Reinhart,
pretty good.
Matt Tkachuk. I mean, you have all these guys you could just list off. Even like Montour.
Dude, what he's done last year and this year, you got to start. They got to respect.
Bob
that.
has not
No,
gotten
he
them. Here.
definitely,
Let me make that clear.
He definitely would
Bob
be
has
in that
not
list, though.
gotten them.
I think
here.
he'd definitely be in that list. If you see any list from anybody, I think he'd be at
Not
least
top
top
5.
7. He'd be between 4 and 7. 4 and 7.
But, okay, but
between them.
Bob is not a top 5 player in this series. He's not.
Who's your top 5?
You go
McDavid,
Draisaitl,
Draisaitl,
then you go
Barkov.
Reinhart, Barkov, or Hagee. There's 5 right
Barkov,
there. I
Tkachuk.
go Tkachuk over him too.
I go Barkov,
Yeah.
Tkachuk. I go McDavid, Draisaitl, Barkov, Tkachuk, Reinhart, Bobrovsky.
You don't think Verhaeghe?
think
Dude,
Reinhart's
Verhaeghe's had the
still
most impact of that entire team in this
No, I
playoffs.
agree. He's a great player too. I just think Bob's been important though. I like to shit on him too.
Bob's been good, but he hasn't been he hasn't been a difference maker. He had a 787 goal save percentage in one of their games against the Rangers where they won.
They
He
don't see
literally
many
lost them
shots
the
though.
game.
The only shots he
I mean,
sees
I
are
don't-
odd
I
man
just
rushes.
think
We
that-
talked about their swarm attack. It's odd man
Listen,
rushes
he's gonna
and
have-
odd man chances.
He's gonna have to make some bigger saves this series. Obviously, he's playing against better guys. You're playing against the best player in the world, but I don't see enough. I mean, they had 10 shots against the Stars last game. If they do that against the Panthers, there's no shot they're gonna have any chance of winning any game.
I liked your take when you were talking about how they're going to hook, trip, slash, take out your best player. And we saw the stats of Sasha Barkov, what he did to Kucherov, Pasternak, and Panarin in their time on ice. He held them to like 1 goal combined or something like that, maybe 3 at most, 2 or 3. But yeah, he stymied them big time when he played against them, and he can match up with anyone. But I'm going to agree with the best player in the world theory here. I think he can overcome all of that. And the odds are going to be against him. The bodies are going to be against him. I think 97 is going to be able to do it. I'm bought into him cementing his legacy as at least one of the best players of all time. Because right now people keep him too far to the conversation, and it's could be one of his few chances at a cup. You never know. I bet you he gets back there again. But
You
he's
think he
gonna
can
show
steal
up.
4 wins against the Panthers team that you just gassed up to the max?
Yeah, I do. And if it was anybody else, no. But it's Connor McDavid.
I think he's a little biased because he has a future on the Oilers.
Yeah, definitely a little bias coming.
If I had
out
more,
for
no,
sure,
if I had more on the future, I would be more biased. But I honestly
Listen.
just think it's going to be the superstar, and I think that the Florida Panthers outmatch them everywhere. But I got to think McDavid shows up and carries it because one player can make a difference in the Stanley Cup Finals.
You think this Florida team's going to lose in the Cup back-to-back years?
I think they
that's not even the point. That's not even the point. The point is just the Oilers are so much out. Like they're
Yeah,
so
the
outmatched.
Panthers are a much the
Panthers
Panthers are a much better team, but I just think McDavid and Draisaitl, they got to hoist a cup at some point. Why not right now?
I think this Florida team's overdue.
Do you think
I
they're
mean, not
destined?
overdue, but due. Yeah.
There's minimal weaknesses to this team.
It's we've seen it
Minimal.
before though. Like I feel like there's when teams get there the first time, like especially out of back-to-back years when teams have gotten to back-to-back cups, the teams that have lost the first one usually win the second one.
I
What
saw
if
there
this
was
is the
a-
start? What if this is the start of the McDavid dynasty though? Did Crosby won his first cup?
Crosby won his. McDavid's already older than Crosby was when he won his first cup.
No, but when he went to his
He
first
said-
cup,
well,
he went one.
Crosby
for one.
lost in 08 where he won in 09 to the Red Wings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe McDavid's supposed to be better.
So if McDavid, well, again, he's older than him already. Sid was only in his 7th year. No, 2004, 5. Fourth year. Third year when he went to the Cup. 4th year when he won.
No, not third.
Yeah, he
When
was
when
drafted
was he
in 05.
drafted? Oh, I thought you said
05.
04. Okay, so
His
05,
first
06,
season was
07,
04,
08.
05.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
think. He was drafted
You're
in
right.
04.
You're right.
No, Gino was 04.
Granted,
You sure?
that
Sure.
Penguins team was a lot better.
No,
than
literally,
the
I
team
agree with
that kinda
everything.
got-
I agree with every
into.
take you guys have about all of this. I agree with the matchups and everything I see, the eye test, the paper test, the matchup, lineup by lineup. I'm just gonna go with the best player on the ice. They had the
If
second.
anyone
best
could do
player,
it, it's gonna
too.
be McDavid. But I just
That's-
don't
that's
think
what I'm
anybody
saying,
could do
but
it.
I
I
think
just don't
this
think anyone could do it.
toughest matchup they could have gotten is Connor McDavid. They would have handled anybody else in the West.
Easy.
I think it was that thing, Huff, because Gino was drafted first, but didn't start till after Sid because of his visa and shit.
No, there was a lockout in 04.
Ovi was drafted in 04.
Well, yeah, but Gino didn't start till 06.
Oh, really?
I remember there it was being.
Well, Fleury was the year. There was like 3 straight years. It was Fleury and then
Fleury was 03.
and then Crosby. Yeah.
Fleury was the same year as Braun.
I'm trying to find. I don't know. This is the hardest thing to find. Jesus Christ. Where's like his elite prospects? 2005 NHL draft. But I'm trying to find out what his rookie year was.
Go to Elite Prospects, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to find. Dude, looking at like guys like that elite prospects, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I
dude.
suck
It's
it off.
disgusting. It's like 100.
Let me run through some of these odds here. The Stanley Cup Finals winner, Panthers are the favorite here, -130. Oilers falling behind them, +110. And the Conn Smythe winner here, Connor McDavid leading the pack at +200. Sergei Bobrovsky at +400. Barkov at 400. Matt Tkachuk at +600. And Leon Draisaitl to round out that top 5 at +750.
Here's my logic on this one. It's the same thing as my logic with the Mavericks. If you think that the Oilers are gonna win, just take McDavid to win Conn Smythe because it's gonna happen. And if you think the Mavs are gonna win, just take Luka to win MVP because it's gonna happen.
I like both those, Mackie, because like it's so true. But could you like imagine Draisaitl has a nuts?
I don't think it matters, dude. I mean, Conn Smythe
I don't know
also
if it
isn't.
does either.
It's
No,
also
but
not
what
a
if
final.
what if
MVP,
what if Draisaitl
it's a playoff
doubles? What if
MVP.
Draisaitl doubles his points in
But
this
it's
series?
also it's not a finals MVP. It's a playoff MVP.
No, I agree. How many more points does McDavid have than Draisaitl right now?
I mean, you could just look at impact. I think Draisaitl had 1 goal last series.
No, you're right. You're right. I think
Also, to
it's
cut in
possible
here-
if he had like a crazy series though.
Crosby's rookie year was 05-06, and then we went to the Cup in 07-08, his first year as captain, his 3rd year in the NHL. He lost, and then he won his 4th year in the NHL against the Red Wings.
That guy's
Yeah,
pretty
McDavid's at,
good.
like,
But you know
37
what's
right
nice though? It's McDavid's time. 87. Take a seat, bud. Get out there on the course. Practice your chipping like my buddy Huff.
He's got the trophies in the case already.
No, I
think
know.
he's-
I name dropped Crosby, so we had to get some Crosby hype up on
Dude,
the
I
pod.
just-
It's like if you
know
ever
when you go
said
on Elite
Tom Brady,
Prospect-
and I had to read some stats.
You know when you go on Elite Prospects, it has the highlights.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The amount of trophies that are in this picture is
Show
disgusting.
it.
It's like taking
Show
up
it.
half my iPhone screen.
Oh,
What is
Half
that?
of them say like ×4, ×3, ×2.
MVPs of every league
Like
he's
Rock
been in.
Richard 1, MVP. Yeah, it's Conn Smythe 2, Stanley Cups 3, gold medal 2.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, he's gross.
Alrighty, I'm curious to hear how many games you guys think this series is going to go. 4 games at +600, 5 games at +260, 6 games and 7 games both at +200. do you think?
Let's go 5. Let's go 5 at +260.
I saw the series
like that,
line
Mac.
set at, I think, 6.5. Is that true?
I didn't see that on MGM exactly.
Makes
I only
sense. The
see like the
minus
game one
130.
stuff.
I would just take under 6.5 games.
I think 6 is the number.
There hasn't been a Stanley Cup that went 7 games since St. Louis beat Boston in 2019. So
Let's see. Stanley Cup
see that.
series odds.
Solid stuff, guys. And a couple more points here in the NHL before we get going. Corey Perry is set to make his 5th finals appearance in his NHL career after he also skated in the championship series with the 2022 Lightning and 2007 Ducks, which included winning a title with Anaheim. He becomes the first player in league history to play at least one game in the finals with 5 different franchises. Pretty interesting one there. Corey Perry.
Yeah, lost the last 3, so not a good trend for Corey Perry there.
Not at all. And final point here, Joe Pavelski, one of the greatest American-born hockey players in NHL history, told reporters Tuesday that he's planning to retire. While it's not official, Pavelski said he's known for a while that the 23-24 NHL season with the Dallas Stars would be his last. He quoted, "This is for me," Pavelski said, or "This is it for me," Pavelski said. "Plan is to not play next season." Pavelski, 39, played 18 seasons in the NHL, born in Plover, Wisconsin. Pavelski was selected by the San Jose Sharks in the 7th round of the 2003 NHL draft. He scored a goal in his first NHL game in what followed a storied career for the American forward. Definitely one of those players that you just, he was always around. He's been around for 18 years, one of those American guys. So props to him.
Here's a hot take. Is he one of the best American guys ever? Because I've never been too
I
big
mean, the
a
list
fan of his.
isn't. It's not like a
It's not
crazy
crazy.
list.
Big.
Yeah.
Patrick Kane, Austin Matthews,
Mike
Mike
Modano.
Modano, Jared
Definitely
Yeah,
some
you
more
could say
talent in the
he's
past 2
top. He's
years.
easily like top 8, top 7.
Nowadays, there's going to be more. But
I'm
Huff,
looking-
if you look at
I'm looking at this list
games
right now,
played,
he's not
look at
top
his
10.
stats though. Look at his stats.
Yeah, 18 years.
Yeah, you're
I mean,
underrating Joe Pavelski.
And he was a captain.
Yeah,
he was
come
literally
on, Huff.
captain of
Acting
Team
like he's a
USA.
nobody.
He led us to a
Just 'cause you
silver
guys-
medal.
Just because you guys beat him in a cup doesn't mean he's a dog shit player.
It's not why I don't like him. I always thought he was kind of overrated. That's just me.
No, he's really good defensively, offensively. Did you see how good he was doing the last few years as like a 30-something-year-old?
39. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Him and Joe Thornton had some good years over there.
I remember
I mean, like,
Patrick Marleau. He
Free
was
cup,
great with
he's the best.
Patrick Marleau. Who else was good on that team? Not too many guys, but Joe Pavelski was one of them.
Sure.
Brent
Yeah,
Burns.
Logan Couture. He was
Sure.
great too. Brent Burns. Yeah, no, storied career though. I'm gonna miss watching him play. I just remember he was always known as the guy that you wanted to be if you played net front for any team. He gets all the gritty goals, the tip ins, the loose change. He's deposited into the back of the net every time.
Alrighty, let's keep it going here. Shifting our focus to the NBA. The Celtics swept the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, and now will head back to the NBA Finals for the first time since losing the Golden State Warriors in 2022. Ace, what do you think about your Celtics here?
Yeah, I mean, we already went over this last week. We talked about how the Celtics.
The playoffs haven't started. Yeah, the playoffs are
Yeah.
just starting now.
Thank you, Mackie. What else? What else keeps going? Keep going.
Jason Tatum's the best player in the world.
Yup. Kristaps Porzingis is healthy. You forgot that one too. But yeah, they're ready to get going.
No, he's not. I don't know
He
if you
is.
saw the report, but he did say they asked him. They said, "Are you 100%?" And he was like, I don't know yet."
He hasn't been 100% since the day
He
got
barely
drafted.
speaks English. He doesn't know what they're asking him. Just let him play basketball and we'll see. But no, I mean, yeah, the Celtics rolled the Pacers and that was a pretty light run. They stayed relatively healthy and did their thing. They handled business. They did their job. So excited that they got some time off and ready to talk about this next series and then the matchup itself in the finals.
Yes, sir. Over to the Western Conference Finals here. The Dallas Mavericks back in the NBA Finals for the first time since winning it in 2011. Eliminated the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games to claim the Western Conference Finals crown. What do we think here? Huff, you unable to cash your Timberwolves bet, but what do you think about these Dallas Mavericks?
Yeah, I think we got the right team came out of the West. Obviously, Minnesota was the hot hand after beating Denver. The thing that scared me was the Timberwolves very quickly became America's team. They had a lot of the money on them in every game. Not saying that's why they lost, but I knew I wasn't going to do well betting on that series. They continued to be America's team throughout most of that series. Dallas just got the job done, went up 3-0. The better team won. Obviously, people are now saying Luka and Kyrie are the best offensive backcourt we've seen. I mean, Steph and Clay, everyone's giving them their respect, but they're saying as far as talent-wise, Luka and Kyrie are the best offensive backcourt we've seen in the NBA. So they've been electric to watch. The role players for Dallas have been great. I think this is going to be an awesome NBA Finals.
Listen, let me just say that backcourt does not touch the Warriors backcourt in 2017. Maybe now because Clay sucks and everyone wants to have some recency bias, but it's just not there.
I
Also,
think they were saying like just basketball talent. Like you're taking Kyrie Irving over Clay, and you're taking Luka,
I'm
like
not taking
that kind of thing.
no, I'm not taking 2024 Kyrie Irving over 2017 Clay Thompson. No, I'm not. No shot. Like everyone just forgets how good of a player Clay Thompson was. Like he hit like 8 threes in a quarter. He scored 37 points in one quarter.
I agree with
Nobody
Mackie
can
here.
do
I agree
that.
with
Nobody
Mackie
can do
here.
that.
You're not putting
Kyrie,
you're not
I'm not
putting
taking
these.
anything. I'm not taking anything away from Kyrie. I know he's a bona fide stud and he's always been, but 2024 Kyrie over 2017 Clay is insane.
Yeah, I
Absolutely
agree with
insane.
Mackie big time. But Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, one of the most skilled, highlight reel filled duos that we're definitely going to see. Not as much help as the other two had in that, Kyrie and Clay. I think they had a lot more help out there in Golden State too. But they're two of the best all time. So I'm going to go with them too, Mackie. But what they've been doing here in Dallas is pretty crazy, especially after what Kyrie came through. Remember how much he was getting bashed when he was a Celtic, then a net. Nobody really knew what was going to happen with his career. There were talks of him rejoining LeBron and being his sidekick again. So it's great to see that he landed. He landed on his feet. He's playing basketball out of the media a lot now. Maybe playing with Doncic really helped that, but he's bought in there, and look at where it's gotten them already.
Yeah, it's crazy because we saw him come in at the end of last year, and the Mavericks still failed to even make the playoffs. And everyone thought it was a failed experiment bringing Kyrie in to play with Luka. But I think he really found himself over here in Dallas, and he's been way happier. He seems way happier. He's talking to the media. He just seems way more of an open guy. He's playing really good basketball as of late as well. So these guys seem to be able to get the job done. They obviously took down those pesky Timberwolves in 6 games, I think. What was that?
Yeah, and you want to hear something? Do we think Anthony Edwards Huff? This question's not for you because I already know your answer. But Mackie, do you think Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves go further than this? I don't think so.
Oh, I do. I think they're just kind of getting started. But I will say the hype.
They need to get a piece.
The
They need
hype
another
West
that
is
went
tough.
into
It's
Anthony
young, too.
Edwards, and then everyone just fell off that hype. It was a crazy.
I'd still take him over Jalen Brunson, but he's overhyped.
2 series hiatus, and then all of a sudden he's not getting the job done anymore, and they kind
It
of
became America's team. I told you that.
Yeah.
That's why you heard so much about him. Everyone bought into that team and was like, "Okay, this is the team we're all rooting for." Minnesota never wins anything, so
yeah.
that's why
that
they've
team,
just
He's
quickly became
super
the
young
public
too.
team.
Like it's pretty cool.
I don't think they need another player, Huff. I just think they need Anthony Edwards to keep developing
Experience.
the player he's expected to be in the next few years. I mean, he's
I'd like
he's
to-
not. The
Shooter.
experience
Huff
is not
wants
there.
a better
The
guard.
shooting-
with him.
The shooting's not there. The experience is not there. It's very clear. He's an absolute stud. Don't get me wrong, but he's young and he's inexperienced, and he makes a lot of mistakes. And the Mavs definitely exposed that in every which way that they could.
There's rumors of them making Mike Conley the sixth man and signing Darius Garland.
That'd be nice. I'd like that pickup a lot.
I don't know about Darius Garland, dude. I don't know about him. I'm not the biggest fan of Darius Garland. I will say that. I think that, dude, just keep what you have. That team. I mean, what they did this year was incredible.
They're not getting. I don't think
just
they're
adding
adding
another
anyone.
guard.
Like Nas Reed, Nas Reed's under contract. Anthony Edwards is under contract. Cat's under contract. Like they're all under contract. Jaden McDaniels is under contract. He just got paid last summer. Like they're not gonna. The only people that they can really lose is like, I mean, they gave up a haul for Gobert. I imagine they gave. I think they gave him a big deal. He's under contract. Like I think the only guys that like I could think of them moving on from is like Kyle Anderson. I mean, but like he's a good defensive guy to come off the bench. Like he buys into that.
Think about the other teams they'll be having to go up against though. They'll be having to go up against those Thunder who are getting better. I don't think the Nuggets are going anywhere anytime soon. There's a couple other teams that are coming into their own nowadays too. That's a tough Western Conference.
I'd love to see them get some. Just they need to do something.
And Luka, still got to get past Luka.
Yeah.
I don't know. The West is definitely loaded, but I don't know.
Good run by them though. The fact that they beat the Nuggets that takes a lot out of you too.
I think that's why everyone bought into the hype.
Alrighty, like you guys kept talking about here, the NBA playoff conference finals is wrapped up, and 2 teams, the Boston Celtics, Dallas Mavericks, emerge for a chance to play in the 2024 NBA Finals. Lots of good stuff here. Celtics are the favorite to win this series here, -225. Mavericks at +180. What are you guys thinking as we gear up for the NBA Finals for this year?
The NBA season is here, finally. People get to worry about Celtics and talk about them now because they coasted through the whole regular season and playoffs. We all knew this was coming. I think I told you guys every time I'd hit a bet on the RI Sportsbook, shout out Rhode Island for not letting all the books in our state, I would throw like 20 or 25 bucks on the Celtics to win it all. Caught them at somewhere between +195, +145. So it's nice to have a good hand in that mix. But yeah, they're sitting with those crazy odds now just because of how good they are. They get Porzingis back for it, which is hype to see. Drew Holiday got for a bag of chips. Everybody thought when they lost Marcus Smart, the Bucks added Damian Lillard, they thought it was the Bucks conference to lose. Then the Celtics go out, they brought in Porzingis, and then Drew Holiday literally falls in their laps. Played on Team USA, one of the best defensive players in the world. We've seen that in these series to help win some close games in those conference finals. I just think this team's primed for destiny. With the same reasons you gave for the Panthers winning the Stanley Cup, Celtics have more of a reason, more experience, outmatched the Mavs in almost every position, and in their recency past, they've been able to handle the other players. Yes, Luka Doncic is good. I don't think he's Connor McDavid level good in NBA terms if you want to analyze there. I think a lot of other guys on the floor are going to be outmatched as well. I think Jason Brown, the two Jays are going to be doing their thing. It'd be nice to even get Porzingis back, but it's going to be Jason Tatum's MVP trophy to hold.
Yeah, I think we have a clear-cut favorite in this, obviously, in the Celtics winning 63 games this year, kind of walking through that Eastern Conference. But I think that they have shown weaknesses in this playoff run. And when you look at the other side and you compare them to the Panthers, I think the Panthers kind of dominated in every aspect. And even though the Celtics only lost 2 games the entire playoffs, I mean, they had pretty close games throughout the entire playoffs. Yeah. But I think this is going to be a really good series. I think it's not going to be a pushover. You guys were saying it could go 5. I think it goes at least 6, probably 7. I'm not going to say the Mavs win because at the end of the day, the Celtics have way too many weapons for the Mavs to kind of keep up. But if the Celtics want to be lackadaisical and just kind of go through the motions like they did last series, they're not going to get away with it like they did last series. So, you need these big guys.
They're not gonna. It's the NBA Finals. You gotta. This is what they're waiting.
Jason Tatum going to shoot nine shots again, or is he going to be shooting 25, 30 shots?
It depends on if they blow him out. If they're blowing people out, if they're blowing people out, he's going to be on the bench.
Well, again, that's what they're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able. If he's shooting 9 shots a game, they're not going to be able to blow out these Mavericks. And
but look at what they've been doing against the Mavericks in their past matchups. I know NBA Finals makes it different, but like the Celtics have handled this team and they match up very, very well with them.
Let me ask you, 2 months ago, did you ever see this team making the NBA Finals?
No, the Dallas Mavericks?
Yeah.
No shot, I don't think.
We're talking about a different team now. We're talking about, players like Lively and PJ Washington are just coming together and playing incredible basketball, and Gafford just like being major impacts on this team while Luka and Kyrie just kind of do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be tough for the Celtics. It's not going to be a cakewalk at all. I'm going to go
Just say Mavs in 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Mavs in 6 actually, but yeah, I think the Mavs.
Are you going to bet on it? I want to see the slip.
No, definitely not. It's honestly for the sake of conversation at the end of the day. But I'm gonna go Mavs in 6. I wouldn't be surprised, obviously.
I'm excited to see Drew Holiday. Who does he match up with? Is it Luka or is it Kyrie? It's probably Kyrie, right?
If they put Luka at the 3, they're gonna have like Derek Jones in at the 2.
Yeah, I want to see Drew Holiday in that matchup because he's a clamp and it's got to be Kyrie. Right?
Drew Holiday will definitely be guarding Kyrie.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun to watch. So. That's gonna be fun to watch.
Who's guarding Luka?
Derek White for sure. He's a defensive.
Come on,
he's one of the top defensive players in the league. He's one of the top defensive players in the league.
Dude, he's just gonna give he's bigger, or Luka's bigger, and he's just gonna go right. Or if he wants to go right by him,
all right, we'll see though. We'll see though.
Derek White's been
playing really good defense.
I think they should put Drew Holiday on Luka. To be honest,
Derek White's one of the top defenders. Derek White's one of the top defenders in the league.
Whoever the hot hand is.
No, Drew Holiday's a better defender than Derek.
No, I know. Drew Holiday's Drew Holiday's the top defender in the league. I said that when they brought him in this summer, but he's a better.
It's basically why they brought him in to play against like a player like Luka in the finals.
He's a better version of Marcus Smart for sure, and he gets buckets too. Same with Derek White. The two of them they brought in, but yeah, it's gonna be a fun matchup to watch. Huff, give your take on this series here.
Yeah, I have the Celtics. I do have them winning in 5. Mackie kind of alluded to that. I just think this Celtics team caps off this season with the with a ring. I don't see this going past. I mean, like you said, maybe 6 games. I could see Boston lift the trophy down there in American Airlines Center, but I love Luka. Don't get me wrong. That's who I'm rooting for. But all fandom, all whatever aside, I just my brain's telling me the Celtics are going to win the series. They're the better team. They're the more well rested team. Obviously, we just saw Mavericks definitely made up for that, because if that that Timberwolves series would have leaked out to 7 games, that would have been a very similar situation to, they were handed a tired T-Wolves team off a 7 series with the Nuggets. I think obviously this 10 days of rest is crazy before the NBA Finals. I just can't wait for the series to start. I'm kind of just sick of talking about it. I just want to play a game now.
Yeah.
Like, want them to play a game now so we have something to base it off. But I mean, I have the Celtics. I think they'll handle game 1 tomorrow. I don't know the spread on the game yet, but
Jesse,
I like
what
the
is the
Celtics
spread on that
tomorrow
game? I
night.
was about to ask.
I think they
Spread
come out
on
quick.
the game is 6.5.
Oh, they cover that. I'm gonna take that one. I think they get a double-digit win here, but then again, we saw how lightly they.
I don't think. I think you'll be sweating that 6.5, but I do think they'll cover.
That'll be a fun one. We'll try and get some action out for the finals in both sports. If not individual plays, check our Twitter for sure.
So I have some totals here. The series total games under 4.5 is plus 450. Over 5.5 is minus 175. Under 5.5 plus 140.
I like that.
Over 6.5 plus 225. Under 6.5 minus 300. Obviously.
See,
I might just
guys,
bet game
don't
5
say
exact.
sweep.
I would only
Like,
say 5 games exact.
I was gonna say, don't take under 5.5 because it's not going to be a sweep. If anything, it would just be exactly 5 games,
Yeah.
and you probably get better value there.
That's what I'm thinking too. Imagine they swept them though. I mean, if there ever was a time to do it, this is one of the most unbalanced championships we've seen in a while, right?
I think you're going to get a Kyrie Irving 30-point game at one of the games in Boston. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, but how many points are the Celtics going to put up? That's what I'm interested to see, is how is this Mavericks team going to defend the Boston Celtics? Because you have to be on defense at all times, because 5 guys on the floor can go get a bucket, even when Al Horford's in instead of Porzingis.
My logic behind that, okay, you can't bring in the Porzingis factor in my logic, but I mean the Pacers were right there for 3 games out of the 4, so if they can do it, I think the Mavericks can hold their own as well.
I think the Pacers give a better defensive effort than the Mavericks do, though. The Celtics match up well on. The Celtics match up well.
Wait. When I was talking about the Knicks going off for a lot of points, you guys are saying the Pacers are the worst defensive team in the playoffs. Now you're saying that they're not bad because they held the stuff.
No, but I think that they were more tenacious on defense. I don't think the Dallas Mavericks are a defensive stalwart at all. I think that the matchups swing the Celtics' way on the offensive side of the ball. I think it's going to be tough for the Mavericks to keep them from putting points up.
I think it's going to be hard for you guys to get points in the paint or even down low.
I don't know. Those 2 J's, man. They like to get there, and it's crazy. Guys like Derek White, you've seen him in the clutch the past few years. You remember that tip-in shot against the Heat last year, or 2 years ago. But he just steps up too, gets boards, and guys like Drew Holiday. You have the 2 J's. They draw all the attention, even just one of them, and then the supporting cast is just so good around them. The team that they built is nice, and the guys that come off the bench play well too. You got Pritchard, Horford, Hauser. I mean, there's good players that come in and play. So I think the Celtics team is destined for one. I know that they're going up against a great backcourt, but I think I got the Celtics in 5. It's either 5 or 6, but I got them in 5.
Let's go through some of these odds for NBA Finals MVP. Jason Tatum at the lead at minus 120. Luka at second at plus 200. Jaylen Brown in third at plus 625. Kyrie Irving at plus 1,800. And Derek White at plus 3,000 to round out that top 5 here for NBA Finals MVP. What do you guys think about that one?
I think, I mean, they gave Jaylen Brown the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, so I don't think even if it's like close,
He would
they'll
have
give
to
it to
go
Tatum.
off. Yeah.
I think there's value in Tatum at minus 130 for sure, but
I thought
obviously,
there was
like I said
value
earlier,
in Brown though.
there definitely is, but they just gave him Eastern Conference Finals. I feel like it'd be a real slap in the face to give them both, even like when they're both playing basically the same type.
It's gotta be Jason Tatum, right? Like if they win.
Yeah, I think the minus 130 is great value. And like I said earlier, I think if you want to take the Mavs to win, you're going to take Luka at plus 200 because if they're winning this series, it's just
it has to be on Luka Doncic. Yeah. I think, yeah, you're right. It's not terrible value at the Tatum one at minus 120. I think definitely book shop because I think Huff sent something earlier in the week with Jaylen Brown at plus 700 odds. And I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like, maybe. But yeah, it could go a lot of ways. But if the series goes as expected, it's got to be Tatum, you'd think.
Yeah, it should be a good series. I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
We got lots of good stuff there out of the NBA. The NBA finals, the NHL finals are finally here as we wrap up the end of the sports season pretty much before we just get to all MLB. But now let's hit the MLB, go through our power rankings here. Coming in at number 5, Cleveland Guardians. Number 4, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 3, the Baltimore Orioles. Number 2, the Philadelphia Phillies. And number 1, the New York Yankees. What are you guys thinking here as we get through our power rankings here for this week in the MLB?
The Yankees are sick. What they have going on over there with that big three, it's just been absolutely incredible. I think Aaron Judge batted over 400 last month. He's got 21 home runs already. Guy's
Juan
absolutely
Soto,
raking. And then you
dude.
bring in Juan Soto, who's just
Yeah.
absolutely. I think he's MVP frontrunner right now. Then you have a guy like Luis Gil, who's
Out of
he's got
nowhere,
like
he was great.
he's a rookie. I think he's in first for AL Cy Young right now as well. He's just absolutely dealing right now.
Stroman doing well, another good pickup.
And then they don't even have their reigning AL Cy Young winner in Garrett Cole.
Did you see he
pitching yet.
pitched?
So, I
Did you
mean,
see he pitched yesterday in the minors? He went like 4 innings,
Yeah.
none earned, bunch of Ks.
Yeah, Yankees are really good this year. I mean, we've seen teams like this before. I think
Regular
2,
season
3
merchants,
years ago,
though.
they were just good, but if they don't win it this year, it's definitely a letdown.
The Canes, the Yankees, the Ravens, the Sixers, they're all regular season merchants. But yeah,
Cowboys, don't forget them.
yeah, for sure. But no, it's a good list there. I mean, all the other teams deservedly so. Not too much shuffling from last week. Guardians still sticking around. Pretty crazy to see. Royals are the team that I still think is great. Bobby Witt Jr. with another 2-home run day yesterday. He's been on fire. Then they have Seth Lugo and Cole Ragans, who have been pitching great to start this year. I think the Royals are a fun team to watch. Happy to see them good again. Haven't seen them do that since they won the World Series half a decade ago now, maybe. But a lot of other teams starting to pick it up too. Philly's on pace for over 110 wins, which is wild to see. I think the Braves are falling out, Mackie. I don't know about you, but I don't have any faith in them.
Yeah, they definitely have been playing pretty bad baseball. But again, it's a long season. It's only been a week since we talked about it. I didn't expect them to turn around and go 7-0 since last Wednesday, but it's a long season. Let them get it under them, and they can definitely turn around. They have the roster for it.
I'm eager to see some of these moves at the deadline, though. A lot of these, I've seen a lot of moves with some teams that have been playing poorly to start. The Marlins are going to sell some good players. Got to see where they're going. It's going to be a lot of buying at the deadline, too. Sox are going to be shipping people off, but that's going to make a pivotal move there. The Dodgers are getting more guys off the IL. Clayton Kershaw's throwing again. He's targeting a midseason return. So when that staff's healthy, that team's healthy, maybe they'll start playing great baseball. Huffs, Pirates handling them yesterday. But Jared Jones and Paul Skeens, I mean, I just wouldn't bet against either of them anytime they're on the tit. But other than that, it's the Pirates. But it's been some great baseball this year. A lot of good stuff going on. Reds getting a little bit healthier. Friedel back in the mix. I want to see McLean and CES get going again. Orioles just playing crazy, and I think that Blue Jays team's dead in the water. We talked about them before. Buyers, sellers, we don't know. I don't know if they sell those big pieces, but they're kind of dead in the water in my opinion. Them and the Rays, tough year. Interesting to watch. Tigers on the come up too. Tariq Skubal, I think he might be going for that AL Cy Young. I don't know about you guys, but I think he's the best pitcher in the AL this year. They got some good guys behind him. Jack Flaherty, who they brought in from the Cardinals. Reese Olson pitching well too. So a lot of good stuff going on in the MLB. Definitely check for our daily plays. I think we're at like plus 8.5 units, something like that. 2 plays pending today. D-backs not looking too hot. We got the MLB draft, the futures game, the home run derby, the All-Star game coming up in just under a month. So I know we're focused on these 2 championship series right now, but the MLB is doing its thing. And by the time these championship series are done, hopefully a lot more people are healthy and we got a better picture on who's doing what, where people are going, and who's going to be at the Midsummer Classic.
Awesome stuff, boys. Lots of good stuff there out of the MLB as we, again, gear past these NHL and NBA finals and have lots of MLB to talk about before we get ready for the beginning of the NFL season. That's all I have, though, for this week, boys. Anything else to add before we get on out of
Yeah,
here?
one more thing I was just going to say, shout out to the MLB players that are throwing bets on games. Not too great for your career, but pretty funny for us to follow. And if you don't have an interpreter like Mackie said, then you're not Shohei Ohtani and you're probably done playing baseball. So figure it out down there.
Good stuff. All right, boys. Thanks for coming out here for another week. Make sure to tune in for any of our live streams for video games and all our sports talk each and every week. But other than that, I think we'll see you next week. Check us out on social media for all our daily picks and plays. That's all we got. Thanks for coming by. See you next week.